Hi everyone, and thank you so much for tuning into my channel. Today we're making the classic red velvet cake with cream cheese frosting. This recipe is extremely easy, really moist, tender, delicious cake which requires no butter. The cake itself, the cake base itself, can be easily made with oil, and you don't need any equipment. You can literally whisk it up with a fork. So let's get started, but before that, please do consider subscribing to my channel and give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoy my content. So the first thing I did was I prepared my pans. I'm gonna use 6 inches pan because I want my cake to be tall, about 4 to 5 inches tall, but you can definitely use an 8-inch round pan if you don't want a lot of height. So I have all of my ingredients set up, everything is at room temperature, and I'm going to start by weighing my ingredients. I highly recommend weighing them because when you are baking, the measures in grams is going to give you the perfect result every single time. But if you're not comfortable with the weighing scale or you don't have it, you can use cup measures. I have everything in the description box below for you guys to have a look. So I sieved my flour and then I sieved my cocoa powder. Very important because cocoa powder especially has a lot of lumps into it. Then I'm adding a teaspoon of salt, some baking powder, and I'm adding about 2 cups, which is 400 grams of sugar. It's fine grind sugar, so if you have thicker cane sugar, I would highly recommend grinding it down to a little bit fine pieces. So here I have 1 cup of buttermilk, which is warm. Warming the buttermilk actually helps your color to dissolve a lot better and you get a really nice shade of red. If you add it straight away in the cold milk, especially if you're using gel colors, it's not gonna give a really rich tone of red that you see here. So now I'm adding a teaspoon of vanilla and 1.5 cup of oil, which is flavorless. Canola oil is my go-to whenever I'm baking. Also, if you don't have buttermilk, you can actually use 1 cup of milk with 1 tablespoon of lemon juice or vinegar for per cup of buttermilk. So you can easily replace it with that. Now I have 3 large eggs, which are about 65 to 75 grams each. And I'm just gonna roughly whisk it in the same bowl as my buttermilk, and I'm gonna dump it in. And now all you have to do is mix this up really well. Make sure everything is nicely incorporated. There are no lumps, there are no air pockets of flour or cocoa powder anywhere. So once you have a nice, smooth, deep red mixture like this, you want to go to your next step, which is adding in the rising agents that I'm going to show you in just a minute. But before that, please make sure your pans are ready, because after we put in the vinegar and the baking soda, you want to bake it right away, because this is what's going to help it rise and help it moisten up a lot. So I had vinegar, and to that I'm adding 3/4 teaspoons of baking soda. If you don't have vinegar, feel free to use fresh lemon juice, but please make sure that it's fresh and not the store-bought one that you get in a small container. So add that in and quickly mix it up so that it's evenly distributed in your batter, and then pour your cake batter in the prepared pans and bake at 350 Fahrenheit. It's a preheated oven, and I'm gonna bake it for about 30 to 40 minutes or until a toothpick inserted comes out clean. That's when you know that your cake is ready, and it also starts to leave the edges a little bit, so that's also a little giveaway that the cake is ready. So you see that the toothpick is clean. And now it's time to cool the cake. What I like to do is I let it sit for about 10 minutes when it's a little bit easier for me to handle. And I love that this cake comes out fairly flat and it doesn't have that dome that everybody despises so much, including me, because I feel like it wastes a lot of my cake. And what I do is I flip it upside down so that my cakes are cooling down completely flat on both sides. Make sure that the parchment layer is still there so that nothing sticks to the bottom. Cover it and let it cool down. Meanwhile, let's start with the cream cheese frosting. I have 1 8-ounce brick of cream cheese. Make sure it's the brick kind and not the spread, because then you won't be able to have a really stiff fluffy sort of a cream cheese frosting. And to that I added 350 grams of unsalted butter, which was slightly colder at room temperature. I took both of these things out of my fridge about an hour before, because if they are melting too much and are not at the right temperature, your cream cheese is gonna turn up a lot soupy than it should be. It would be melting and it won't be holding its peaks. So once everything is completely incorporated, it's nice and fluffy, I've added my powdered sugar, and I'm going to keep adding my powdered sugar a little at a time till my cream cheese frosting comes together. I have a detailed video on cream cheese frosting alone. I'm going to link it for you guys to have a look. So now that my frosting is ready, I have my cakes cut out, and right away you can see how super tender and moist and delicious this cake is. Now before I start stacking my cake and layering it up, I make sure that everything is nearby so I can work quickly. I don't want my cakes to dry. If you tend to, or if you are gonna decorate this cake and you want to keep it in the fridge for a couple of days, I would recommend adding some simple syrup to it. It makes sure that your cake stays moist for a longer time. And what I'm doing here is I'm making a dam so that my cream cheese frosting is not constantly slipping and sliding out of my cake layers. Also, if you're making this cake to be covered with fondant, or you are going to add any kind of fondant accents to it, I would highly recommend covering the cake with either buttercream, Swiss meringue, any kind of buttercream, or covering it with ganache, because cream cheese frosting and fondant does not go hand in hand, and I learned it the really hard way. So stack your cakes up nicely. Another thing that you can do, you can mix some whipped cream cheese itself into the Swiss meringue. Just whip it up a little bit and then you'll have a Swiss meringue cream cheese frosting. So now I have a nice coat. I'm gonna make a naked sort of a cake, but there is enough frosting to make a very thickly coated cake of red velvet. I've just added the leftover crumbs on the side of my cake. You can cover all the walls of the cake if you like, from the top, any way you want. And I also added some swirls and some little pearls on top of those swirls. Really basic, easy decoration that you can do. And now let's cut it and see how it looks from within. And would you look at that, how beautiful does this look? It's super tender. The red color is showing beautifully through, and you can actually use any kind of colors that you want. Make it pink, blue, green, any color that you like for any special occasions. And how super tender is this cake? It's just literally, I don't have to put any force onto the spoon, it just glides right through, as you can see. So this was the recipe for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Do try it and let me know how it turns out. If you recreate it, please share it with me on my Instagram. I love seeing your recreations, and I would love if you guys could show some appreciation by liking this video and subscribing to my channel and sharing it with your friends and family. Until next time, the Homemaker Baker over and out.